We're all designed to leave a mark or cause an impact on other people's lives. And the thing is, you can cause an impact or leave a mark on somebody either for good or for bad.
Welcome to the Dude Make Something podcast, where we discuss faith, mental health, and personal development for the purpose of helping Black men to stop being mediocre and to do the work to become excellent for God's glory and the good of others.
What up, Black man? Welcome to the Dude Make Something podcast, where we talk about mental health, personal development, and faith for the whole purpose of trying to help Black men to stop being mediocre and to live vibrant, excellent lives for God's glory and for the good of others. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's nice outside, sort of. I still have a hat and a scarf on, and yeah, it's pretty decent outside. It's not spring quite yet, but it's getting better. It's getting better. I don't like the cold, but hey, you know, winter serves its purpose. There's a deer over there. Anyways, so in today's podcast, I wanted to talk about the purpose of, you know, part of our design, God's design for men, is that we're supposed to create stuff and we're supposed to make things. And I've kind of touched on this in previous episodes of the podcast, that if we don't create, if we don't make stuff, we're kind of like frustrated, like we're not doing and being who God has called us and created us to be. And I actually wanted to reference some scripture on that note. So we got Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. This is the King James Version. It says, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." So that word fruitful in the Strong's Concordance, it's the Strong's number is H6509, and the word is para. And that means to bear fruit, literally or figuratively, to bear, bring forth, be, cause to be, make, fruitful, grow, and increase. And if you look at the dictionary definition of the word, it means producing good results, beneficial, profitable, fruitful investigations, abounding in fruit, as trees or other plants, bearing fruit abundantly, producing an abundant growth as a fruit. And so being fruitful is more than just making money or having lots of kids. It's really just making and producing the stuff that God has placed in us to make and to produce. You know, a kind word or encouraging phone call can be fruitful. It can be beneficial. And that's something that we can create. You know, a poem that you have written, a picture you've taken, a piece of furniture you've built, something you've barbecued for your friends and family. Those are all things that we can create. And see, the thing is, like, we were designed to do that. We were designed to make things, to produce things, to be fruitful. And of course, you know, well, it's kind of muddy back here. Of course, like I mentioned about like having kids and stuff. Yeah, that's also part of our design. You know, once we get married and whatever, and we're partnered with a wife, yeah, we can bear fruit in that way, as in children and stuff. But prior to that, and alongside with that, we're still supposed to create. We're still supposed to make time to make stuff. And when we're not doing that, we're frustrating our design. We're not doing exactly what we were supposed to, that we were created to do. It's kind of like having a sports car. Sure, it might be nice to look at, but all of the engineering and the design that goes into it was meant for a car to go fast, for a sports car to do sporty things, for it to, you know, function in a particular way. When it's not doing that, sure, it might, again, like I said, it might be nice to look at, but eventually it's going to rust. Eventually, it's not meeting its full potential, and it becomes useless, and it's not doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And the same thing can be for us as men. When we are not living out that design that God put in us and designed us for, we're being frustrated, we're being stopped up. And I know that happens to me if I'm actually not taking time to be creative. And again, creative doesn't always have to mean like art and drawing and things like that. Sometimes it can just mean doing stuff with your hands, you know, particularly for me. Like, I enjoy it when there are times when I can fix something or put something together. That's creative. And I can feel it. Like, when I'm actually, even if, say, you're like putting something together from IKEA or whatever, I know when I'm using my hands and I have to use my brain and I'm helping to make something, to create something, like, that makes me come alive a little bit. And I appreciate that. And I'm grateful for opportunities to do things like that. And I know, sure, it might be broad strokes, generalizations. That's the case for all men. It doesn't always have to mean, oh, go out and build something, but maybe you really enjoy proofreading somebody's writing or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, it varies from person to person. But again, we're designed to create things. Just that idea, you know, if you're not creating something, you're not fulfilling your design, especially as a man. And I have another scripture to reference about that. But, you know, God places ideas, dreams, businesses, and all kinds of things in us to produce or create for his glory and for the good of other people. When we're not doing that, even on a small scale, that frustrates us. And frustrating in the sense of stopping up. So, like I was mentioning before, like doing stuff with my hands is one way that helps me to feel creative in producing something, but also writing. I used to write a lot more in college and in like middle school or whatever. But after I graduated and I moved into adulthood, you know, earlier on, the podcast was about trying to stop adulting from killing your creativity. Well, it's still something I'm wrestling with, you know, like I am doing my best to find time to write because that's a creative release for me. And it helps me to, you know, use my imagination and to make things, even things that aren't real. And when I don't do that, when I don't write, I start to feel down. I start to feel depressed because I'm not doing the things that give me joy. I'm not doing the things that I was designed to do. I'm not being creative. And the thing is, as men, we are all designed to leave a mark. We're all designed to leave a mark or cause an impact on other people's lives. And the thing is, you can cause an impact or leave a mark on somebody either for good or for bad. But we ultimately have that influence and that ability to mark somebody. I mean, literally, you can think about the impact that maybe your own father has on you, good or bad. You know, a good father can hugely impact the way a man is developed. You know, growing up from a boy to a man. If your father was there, that's going to have a huge impact on that. If your father wasn't there, it's also going to have a huge impact on that. The outcome will be different. One can be positive, one can be negative. Or I think about some people with like their teachers. It's something about men teachers that at times can have a huge impact on people. Whether it's teachers in the education system, teachers in like, say you have a boys and girls club, or you think about coaches, think about pastors and ministers. Again, we were designed to make impact on people. And I think I have proof for that. If we look at Genesis 1:27, where God is, you know, explaining how he made man male and female. That word male, actually, if you look at the Strong's Concordance again, is H2145, and H stands for Hebrew. So it's a Hebrew word 2145. And that word is zakar. That means properly remembered. That is a male of man or animals as being the most noteworthy sex. And that comes from the Hebrew word 2142. It's a more, I don't want to say primitive, but it's more like distilled version of zakar. And this is from the Brown Driver Briggs. And I like the way this reads compared to the Strong's Concordance. And it says, to remember, recall, call to mind, to be brought to remembrance, be remembered, be thought of, be brought to mind. to mention, to record, to make a memorial, make a remembrance. And see, the thing is, as men, we can either leave good memories or bad memories. We can have good influence or negative influence. And that's the thing when I mentioned about, trying to live in vibrant excellence and living for God's glory and the good of others, I'm talking about good. Good meaning beneficial and having a positive impact on people. That's what we're called to do. And being creative and creating is part of that process. And when we're not doing that, when we're not creating, and when we're not operating in our design as men, we can leave a lot of bad, negative, and malicious impressions on people. And we don't want to do that. And that's something we've all been wrestling with, I think, in the Black community as Black men for a long time. We just haven't been operating in the way that we're supposed to operate. And it's been messing up a lot of stuff. So yeah, ultimately, as men, we are supposed to leave good marks. We're supposed to leave good impacts on people. And we do that by creating. Again, I gave the example earlier about how you may barbecue something, how you cook your chicken up, how you make anything, It can be a song, a poem. It can be how you wash your car or your wife's car or your friend's car or whatever, how you cut hair. There's so many different ways that we can do things as men creatively by producing fruit that will leave a huge impact on somebody. The right barber giving somebody the right lineup, the right cut, that can be monumental for some people, So we have to make sure that we are living in that design, that we are taking time to be creative. And yeah, it can start with us being creative for ourselves so that we're not being frustrated, so that we do have that emotional release valve, so that we can produce stuff because people need what we have to produce. Again, God placed things in us, an idea, a dream, a business, an opportunity, even just a wise word to benefit somebody else for His glory and for the good of others. When we're not being creative, when we're not operating in that design, people can't get the good impression. They can't get that good mark that we're supposed to give. So definitely make sure you're taking time to be creative. Of course, first for your mental, for your mind, so that you're in a good place, but so that you can go out and benefit other people. That's the whole thing. Even with this whole do make something, trying to create things to help other people, to leave a beneficial and positive mark on those around us, those around me. So yeah, make sure that you're living and walking in your design. Create something and leave beneficial, good marks on others. Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and rate and review on your favorite podcasting app. Black man, you're called for more than mediocre living. You're here for a purpose, to live for God's glory and for the good of others. Let's do the work and keep choosing to live a vibrant and excellent life. Until next time, go make something for yourself, and go make something for God's glory and the good of others. Peace.